What's we didn't even do an intro. Tells you where we are. What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of CGX Cast. So this is it. This is it. This is us. This is our
Sorry.
the channel members for today. We were debating, just gonna be real with you guys, debating if we should cancel or not. But I know we haven't been as consistent, so um, we decided to have it. But yeah, we're gonna do something different this week. We're going to kind of open it up to you viewers. If you guys have questions, if you guys want to participate in the discussion pieces, let us know. We'll get you guys in here. So yeah, we're gonna go through the cloud gaming news, and then we'll again just open it up for discussion and talk about cloud gaming as a whole. So this is mostly improv. I'm not gonna lie, man. No show notes today. We're just going right into this, man. But let's get right into it. Check in with the panel members. Makers, how are you today, sir? What have you been playing? What platform?
I'm good. I've been playing a lot of Elden Ring. That's just about it. Maybe
Okay.
a little bit of a Halo, a little bit of Horizon.
Okay.
Uh, I think I played a little bit of Skyrim on xCloud.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, just dabbling in it. Excited for Starfield later this year.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, just Elden Ring mostly.
Tell the people about Elden Ring. I was talking to you about it earlier today. Seems like you're having a good time. What about that game do you enjoy so much?
Uh, I I mean, obviously, I like defeating the bosses, that relief of overcoming this challenge. And what I love about Souls-like games, most, at least from software type games, most of the bosses don't really feel like, oh, that was BS. Most of them's like, oh, I should have dodged right there, and he got me, or I shouldn't have dodged so fast because that attack is a little bit long winded. Uh, so to me, I see it as more of strategy. Like you see their move sets, you learn their move sets, you figure out what kind of moves they'll do, uh, and change
Yeah,
accordingly.
Jerry, take over real quick. I'll be right back.
Go for it.
Yeah.
And I would say it's also just such a relief, or like such a great feeling to see your character get more powerful, get better weapons, get stronger spells, and it nails that feeling that you are getting stronger, that you are able to take on these godlike creatures, and it's such a cool feeling.
Yeah, and I was talking about how that game has frustrated me so much, but yet I wound up going back to it, and it's kind of like if I'm not making a video or working on something, I'm jumping back into Elden Ring, even if I'm not super far along. What I think you said, what was your highest character? Was like 143
Yeah, like
or something.
143.
I'm
Yeah.
like I'm like super happy at 38. Last night, like yeah, level 38, and then you're talking about 143, and I felt like oh, I gotta get busy. But
Yeah, I have two that are above 100. I've got a 125 dex build, and then my mage is 143, which my mage, I just blow through most of the enemies. I summon the little guy to defend for me, and I just cast my Kamehameha wave and watch their damage just melt. It's great.
nice, nice. Yeah, I mean, so for me, other than working on videos, it's Elden Ring, but I've also been playing Gran Turismo 7 on PS5 a bit. It doesn't for me hold up visually to what like Forza Horizon 5 is, but they're such different games as far as like arcade style versus sim, and I'm actually really liking the gameplay itself, like the driving and everything. So it's been fun. It's been a long time since I played Gran Turismo, so that's been a good one for me to get into when I have time. If I'm not feeling as serious as Elden Ring and I want to do something a little bit more fun, I'll do that. And then I didn't even keep up with news this week or anything. I have lived in the world of Shrine, the new one of the new cloud gaming PCs that are out. Really only available here in the U.S. right now. And I'm sure anybody watching the podcast probably already watched that overview video. There's a ton of info in there, but they've got some goods and some bads going on. But it looks like it could become a really decent cloud gaming PC setup. And for the $40 a month they have for the 60 hours isn't too bad. I know unlimited's always better, But looking at the cost of things like Air GPU and stuff tend to get a little bit pricey when you get by the hour. It's not too bad for a lot of people. They'll be all right with the 60 hours. So that's pretty much where I've been living all week, in Shrine if I'm not playing something. So, but I think Ace wanted to start off with some news, and yeah, we could kick that off with GeForce Now because I don't have a share screen ready like he had, but they had 6 games this week. What were their 6 games? We had Distance Worlds 2. He left me unprepared for this. Where's the list of games? Let me try to pull it up real quick.
I'll be
But
completely
have
honest.
you?
I think the keynote was the 3080 1-month
All right.
membership.
We had Buccaneers new on Steam. We had Distant Worlds 2 new on Steam. Ironsmith Medieval Simulator was a new release on Steam. So I had 3 day and dates. And then the other 3 games were Bus Driver Simulator, Martha is Dead, and Survival Quiz City. Those were all on Steam. So all the releases this week were on Steam. Considering the amount of discussion about Elden Ring, I would assume if I ask you if you've tried any of these games on GeForce Now this week, your answer is probably a big no. So, do you plan on trying any of the 6 releases that they've put up this week? Because yeah, I think we talked about last week that we kind of already got the good releases in the beginning of the month, and I felt like that happened in February also with like Dying Light and Sifu and stuff like that. It kind of came at the beginning, so I'm a little concerned about the week by week for the rest of the month if we don't get any surprises with GeForce Now as far as like game releases. But I don't know. It's nice to continue to see day and date releases and support and fill in the catalog. But of course, there's no like big, as Ace would say, we don't have any bangers this week or anything that would pull anybody in. So let's see. But we did have, I would say, the biggest announcement for GFN this week is the new $19.99 monthly pricing. I know I've had a ton of messages about that since this came out last November, about monthly pricing. It's a little bit pricier in the long run, like $240 a year instead of $200 a year. But for a lot of people, it's just easier to put out that money every month. So what did you think about the new tier release, the new pricing?
For me, I thought I think the pricing's somewhat reasonable. You know, it's cheaper than Shadow. Granted, it's not a full-fledged PC, but for the rig that you're getting, it's significantly stronger than let's say a Shadow rig at a fraction of the price. You know,
Right.
It's a decent deal, but I definitely would sign up for the 6 months if I was really interested in gaming through GeForce Now just to save that extra money.
Coco, where we at? Sorry, guys.
We are on GeForce Now News. We just jumped right into GFN first.
Cool.
The 6 games, there's not a lot going on. We can, whatever you think about the 6 releases. Nothing exciting for me or Maker. Nothing we're trying out there. And then we're talking about the monthly pricing, which is something I know a lot of people have been waiting for. So that was a decent piece of news.
Very weak. We can all agree to that, right? Week for GFN.
I would even go
as far as to say Stadia had a better week this week than GFN.
I don't know. I mean, I still think Stadia's kind of pulling catch up based on the games that they're getting.
Stadia had 3 announcements this week.
True.
Guys.
But the only difference is, even though the games aren't for us, and I'll say week on the games for me too, but they are 3 brand new releases on Steam that for the PC community will play, even though we won't. So a little bit stronger on the release side, but to be honest with you, neither Stadia or GFN set anything on fire this week as far as actual title releases.
Okay. Still a week.
Right.
Okay.
Oh, I think the big thing for me is that like all the titles that came to Stadia are already on a lot of these other platforms.
Right.
And that's why I'm saying
those 3 day and dates.
It's pulling catch up.
Okay. So, but we're saying 3. So we have 3 new releases, right? The Buccaneers Distant World 2 and Ironsmith Medieval Simulator. And okay. We got 2 simulators this week, guys. Wow. Okay. Martha's Dead And a quiz
Hey,
game.
if Hell Monkey was on here, okay, he was jumping into Bus Driver Simulator. He would be talking about that. He beat Martha is Dead, so we would at least
Yeah.
have some positivity this week
Him,
as far
him
as
and
releases.
Duncan both would be
Right,
really
right.
excited about this week. Like you were saying,
And
there are people who enjoy this type of games,
I think
and
its
shout
beauty
outs
is
to
in the eye
them.
of the beholder this week, Ace. Like it's weak for everybody in my opinion, but like the fact that there are 3 new releases for someone, it's slightly stronger, but I just don't think Stadia or GFN really killed it with games this week.
Yeah, but okay. So all right. So let me open this up for GFN, right? I was gonna say something, but there's something we shouldn't say. Okay, I'm just gonna. How would you say GFN is doing? For we just got into March, so let's just throw in February with it. Are you satisfied by the announcement for the month of February and beginning of March? With the news, just with the news, are you satisfied?
For the month of February and
And
March,
March, yeah, because we just got into March.
I would say just for all the games, I'm trying to look back at what a lot of these releases were. Um, there's a lot of games we still want to see come as far as like the whole PC crowd we're always talking about. The
Mhm.
releases are pretty decent, and they do have a couple of bigger releases. The biggest one for me in February was Dying Light 2, but I'm going to be
Yeah,
partial to that because that's my franchise. Like that's my zombie game. So for me,
you
that
like
for
it?
them to have that was a big one for February. Didn't care about any of the other games, right?
Okay,
So
okay.
I'm like, and I did like Sifu was okay, but I didn't
Seafood
stick
was
with
good,
it.
yeah.
It was okay. So that was a good for February, but again, it's only a couple of games. And then
Okay.
Shadow Warrior 3, I know it was short, got bad reviews, but I had a lot of fun with it. I beat it on PlayStation and I beat it on GeForce Now because it is
Yeah.
fairly short. Just going through it quickly, and
Did
I actually
that
had
come
fun
out
with
in
that. So
February or March?
that was March, so
Okay.
that one was a March one. So
Okay.
I mean, yeah, is it a lot of weekly heavy hitters or anything? No, there's a lot of backfill, but there's also still a lot of day and date release PC titles, and there has been at least 1 or 2 bigger releases in the month, even though it hasn't been a ton. So I would say for me, yeah, I'm happy enough, especially for this
Okay.
time of year, what we're seeing. Yeah.
Yeah. I was gonna roast them, but remembering that Seafood came, right? And Dying Light 2, it feels like so long ago because those games came out like beginning of the month, but those were stellar games for GFN to get, I guess, for the month of February. I don't know, man. Like lately feels like they haven't been bringing the bangers, man. But that they still have like 2.5, 3 weeks left for the month of March. So we might see them. We might see them. How about you, Maker? What's your take on GFN? Do you think they've been bringing the good news as of late?
I think they're teetering between like okay and a little bit disappointing. Not getting Lost Ark or Elden Ring to me was a bit disappointing for me, at least, because those were probably the 2 biggest titles for February for me. But grabbing Dying Light 2 is definitely a good one. If you look at the numbers, I think Dying Light 2 was doing pretty well on the NPD reports. So having a relatively large title come to the platform in February, I think, and day and date is a good thing. But yeah, just disappointing, a little disappointing for me. But uh, I guess an overall okay is what I would give it.
Okay, fair enough. Cool. Yeah, like I was gonna say, I'm not too impressed with the releases. I mean, we got Dying Light too, so I got to give them some props there and Sifu. But I feel like after Sifu, just the drops and the news have not been the greatest for GFN. Jerry, you know what I was referring to when I said I couldn't talk about it, but I think if that would have happened, you know, things would have looked different. I don't know if I should. Okay, let's move on, y'all. Let's move on. But I don't know. They got to step their game up when it comes to game releases and news, but they probably working on things, so just tell myself to be patient for sure. But hopefully we see better news with GFN. Let's move on to Amazon Luna. I'm gonna ask you guys this question because all you guys in this panel, including myself, we are privileged enough to be able to play Luna whenever the hell we want to. So I'm gonna ask you this question, like I said I was going to do in the last podcast. Any of you play Amazon Luna this week?
I didn't. I have a good reason. I typically, like I said last week, use Luna for my Ubisoft stuff. I like to jump on there for those games.
Uh-huh.
I didn't do anything this week but Shrine. And that I was talking to Maker, like when you had to leave and
Okay.
come back, I was talking to him like I lived in Shrine Cloud PC world from Saturday last week all the way until Thursday when I finished the overview video and got it up.
No,
That's the
dude.
only content I worked on. Like I was emailing with them back and forth. They've been great, really good with communication. But I just like lived in it. I was testing the heck out of it. You know how I go at VMs as hard as I can. I want to find out everything I can, and then try to turn that into something everybody can watch for a few minutes and get something out of. So spent a ton of time on it, and only played Elden Ring and Gran Turismo 7 a couple of hours during the week, like total. In between that. So I was just like living, breathing Shrine. So I really didn't get into anything. No GFN, no xCloud. I didn't even get to try Guardians of the Galaxy on xCloud yet. Like, I'm dying to see how it
Yeah.
runs. I haven't even gotten to boot that up. So, yeah, I was in Shrine Land for 5, 6, 7 days, whatever.
Yeah, just watching your overview video of that, you you spent some time with that
I
service,
did.
man. But okay, good excuse, man. We'll always come back to this question every single week. And Make, I'm gonna ask you too. Did you touch Luna this week?
No, I didn't. But as I've said before, Elden Ring's kind of taken over my life for the past 2 weeks. But I will say I have about 6 hours into Alien Isolation on Luna, and I do need to get back to it at some point,
Okay.
as well as I've got like an hour or two of Chorus on Luna as well. So
Okay.
that's kind of why I still have my subscription, is I want to beat those uh, down the line when I do have some free time. So yeah.
Okay. And to answer my own question, no, I haven't touched Luna this week. And the reason I didn't bring this up is because, like I said, I don't see anyone playing this service, man. And not again to be a downer, but like what games are you guys gonna play on there that you're not playing elsewhere? You know? Um, but just there's some excuses this week, but I'll bring this question up again next time and see who's
I
playing it.
will reiterate about Luna that if I didn't make content, right,
Mm-hmm.
there would be no reason for me to have it. I'm a person who's got local hardware or who would have multiple other cloud services, like you said, or playing a game somewhere else, right?
Mm-hmm.
And like I said last week, I just personally don't think Luna's ever going to target me or to target you or to target Maker. I think
Okay.
it's always going to be a different market, and I think there's a lot of either non-gamers or people who left gaming, kind of like the Stadia situation, or the moms or dads or the streamers trying to get started, or all the different categories that Luna might appeal to, especially at their pricing.
Right.
And I kind of like where it's at. But do I ever think it's necessarily going to be a subscription that somebody like me would go for? I don't. I don't see it
Okay.
really ever becoming that.
Well, I'm glad you said that because I was getting scared for a second, man.
No,
Like,
but I do think there's room for everyone. Like as far as the cloud gaming and the accessibility and like all that we always talk about how cloud could bring in new groups of people who never gamed before. Those groups of people may not want to game the way we game, and Luna may be something more accessible to them, and they only need a couple of million decent subs and running off of Prime and stuff. So yeah, I don't think it's ever something that's hardcore or me and you will love or would sub to. But I think there's room for all kinds of different cloud gaming, and I am pretty impressed by it just for what it is and what it might offer to a group of people.
okay.
For me, I think the biggest appeal for it is probably the Jackbox one. And Jerry was talking about reaching that audience that don't typically play a lot of games. You know, the Jackbox Party Packs subscription is probably the best deal. If you look at even the games that they do have on Stadia, to buy all of them you're easily going to be spending $50+. Whereas with Luna, you're in $5 and instantly have access to all the Jackbox games.
Okay. So Jerry is saying this is not targeted towards you. Maker, you saying the best channel on Amazon Luna is the Jackbox channel.
You know, we said that last week too, that like for the holiday time, like there's probably gonna be times of the year where you're seeing like more get-togethers, and you'll see like that channel sub go up a bit for all the families at home with Prime that are like, oh, like we can have this ready for the Christmas parties or the Thanksgiving parties or whatever. You might see some of that. I don't think it's like a crazy amount, but I think there will be something to that. And I think being able to like subscribe and then instantly cancel that and have it until your time is up, it's not bad. You dropped a few bucks and then you're done with it.
Okay. So just like I was asking last week, right? When you compare the official launch of this platform to what, say, Stadia has done so far in the last 2 years, do we give Stadia a little pass, right? Because again, these people had 2 years to make the service what it is, and this is what we get. And you're saying the best channel on this platform is a Jackbox channel, which is a channel that which is games that are already elsewhere. Yeah, you pay $5.99, whatever the price might be, and you can play all of them that you want. But that's the best channel right now on Luna.
Well, let me
And they
add
had
that's
2
and
years
that's
to
Maker's
create this service.
personal pick, right? Like my best pick is the Ubisoft channel. For
But
me, that's the
that's
heavy.
in Stadia though, right?
Yeah,
That's
but it
in
doesn't.
GFN.
Yeah, but I prefer it to mostly over on Luna. I prefer the performance personally for me where I'm at here. Their target of high detail, 60 frames per second, and the clean stream they have comes through really well. So for me, if I'm choosing a place, if I'm not playing locally on my PC through that subscription, it's probably GeForce Now or Luna, and then
Okay.
Stadia last for performance. As far as the launch, and we started comparing Luna and Stadia's launch last week a little bit. There's kind of a big difference for me on that as to where I can sit here at launch and even in beta and say, I understand what this service is. I think it can be very successful for the audience it's going for, but I'll personally never be that audience. And if I wasn't subbed as a creator, I wouldn't be. That doesn't mean a lot of people wouldn't be. I know what the service is at launch. For me, with Stadia, how they launched, going for the console gamer. That's who they wanted. They wanted to replace your PS4 and your Xbox One. They kind of came out and they stumbled really hard on that promise, and got a bad name for themselves. And I hated that because Stadia had a lot of magic to it. It still does. I still like a lot of how you're able to just go in, launch the game really quickly. There's a lot of positives that I still think Stadia has a lot of magic, but they came out targeting a certain thing and they weren't able to do that. And for me, their launch got a little bit botched. They stumbled a bit and they had trouble. And then it's kind of like now we're still trying to figure out what is Stadia going forward? What product is that? I don't have that question with Luna. For me, I know what the product is at launch and going forward. And I don't think they've come out and stumbled or had a problem. They're just offering a certain way to cloud game, and it's for you or it's not. But they haven't made any false promises.
Okay, that's fair. Home Monkey was saying, yeah, we did talk about this, but like I said last week, every week, podcast week, I'm gonna come on here and check who's actually really playing the service. And that's what today is, man. And we're 0 for 3 this week. I know, Jerry had some work to do. I know Makers had some other games to play. Me, just no excuse. But we're 0 for 3. And again, we're gonna check in about this the following week as well. But yeah,
I did want to mention something. If we're gonna compare like subscription services like Stadia Pro to Luna Plus, me personally, I already canceled my sub for Stadia, but Luna, to me, there's titles here that I want to play. Yakuza Like a Dragon. There's, as I said before, I played a bit of Alien Isolation and Chorus that I want to beat. Let's see what else they have. Sonic Mania is a really good title that I love. No More Heroes series I've never played, but I would love to try out. So to me, there's titles here that I'm more interested in than, say, Darksiders Genesis, which I'm not really interested in, or even Darksiders 3. I still haven't even played the first Darksiders, which Stadia doesn't have. So if I were to play that series, I would rather play it from the start. And to me, that's where it kind of becomes weaker. But if we compare Luna Plus to Game Pass, Game Pass just blows it out of the water. There's way more titles that I'm more interested, want to play in Game Pass than either of those services.
Okay.
But that's what they're competing against with that. But if we're talking the platform, I think Stadia operates better as a platform because they do have some day and date titles.
Okay. Fair enough. And like I was showcasing here, we had one game released for the platform this week. It's called Grow, Song of the Tree. You know, my daughter saw this game and she got really excited. And, you know, I was really happy for her. But is this something I'm gonna pick up and play? Probably not. And again, like you guys are saying, though, Luna has the target audience. It's just not me, and it's gonna be quite interesting to see, like, you know, like I think this is geared towards like family and kids. But yeah, we'll see, we'll see. Anyone else for Luna before we move on? That's it. Okay. So let's talk about Stadia, man. They had some, I don't know, man. I think this might be the new way of Stadia going forward. The three block. You guys, let me know what your thoughts are about this. We had 3 news from them. Let me see if I can share my screen. So we had one this week on Stadia, right? It says "Conquer Your Fears." Let me share my screen. I mean, while I'm doing that, I just want to say I wouldn't mind this format, but it'll be good for them to let us know if this is the route that they want to use going forward, because I'm still thinking we're getting the whole bi-weekly update, but this is the second week in a row where they're giving us like 2 or 3 announcement back to back. But let me share this with you guys. As you guys are seeing right here. What's my screen? All right, so we got Play the Best of Ubisoft and Stadia with new games and add-on. This was 310 2 days ago. Next up on Stadia, City Skies Overcooked, All You Can Eat, Golf with Your Friends. This was 3 days ago. And then this week on Stadia, Conquer Your Fears, 4 days ago, 308. What are your thoughts about this format? Are you guys okay with this? Do you guys want to see this format going forward? Or do you want them to go back to the bi-weekly news format? Anyone can just hop on with this.
I think the community prefers these daily or randomized drops as soon as they're ready. Content creators hate it because people like the Great Hell Monkey that make a lot of the news videos will get together something and then the next day there's a piece and you're like, dude, if you do a dedicated video for all these drops, especially if you get into doing it for every company, you're just it'll be a mess. So you try to consolidate that, and when it just becomes it could drop daily or every other day, for creators it gets tough. But I think for like the community, they like it because it's kind of every day something new. It's trying to create conversation. I know Duncan would really like it. He would like some piece of news, even if it's one little thing every single day, just to drip, and keep it going, and then put all that together in a package every 2 weeks. So from what I've seen, the community is loving the way that they're putting out. I just can worry that they won't be able to keep that up. Depending on how many titles Stadia has coming and what kind of things are going to be happening this year, can it keep up the kind of daily things like that, or does it go quiet for a bi-weekly again? And then, that can get annoying. If you can't keep up with that hype and it's like you do bi-weeklies, but sometimes you get dailies, I don't know. But as a whole, this week, it seemed like everybody was pretty hyped and pretty happy to see the more communication and more drops.
Right. So if you were to speculate as to why they're doing this, what would you say? I have an idea, but I just want to see if you guys have looked into why they might be doing this?
I have not really dug deep into why they would be doing it, other than trying to switch strategies, or try something new, or to
Yeah.
try to keep the conversation going. I don't personally have enough faith in Stadia yet that's what they're doing. That's why I want to see where this kind of goes, but I'm not sure.
Okay. Make you any speculation as to why they might be doing this?
It looks frozen. Either that or he's chilling really still.
Yeah, he's he's frozen. So my guess would be maybe they have a lot to say next week, right? With that event happening, which again that they're highlighting here. If you scroll up a little bit, bam! Join Stadia Google for Games Developer Summit on March 15. We're 1 week away from again. If this was geared towards devs, they would not be posting this on their social
Well, the
media.
interesting thing about that is, did you see Stadia's tweet though a couple days ago to, I forget who it was to on there. Somebody had tweeted about the event,
saw
and
that. I saw
they did
that.
kind of temper that expectation already and start backing off a little bit.
no,
Like,
that's
whoa,
not
this
what-
is just for. Yeah, the tweet they had was like saying, yeah, this is, normally this is just for our developers, blah blah blah, but we think you guys will be interested. So I read it and I was like, well, you're kind of backing off a little bit of like pointing everyone to go check it out, and it's kind of hard to tell. I've never expected there to be too much extra other than what they normally have there for a developer conference, other than maybe showing something cool with Windows compatibility, or a game, a new game being brought over, using new tools or something cool, right? That everybody could kind of say, oh, wow, this might be a way to get more games over to the service. So that could be, but I don't expect to see a lot. Maybe all of these drops are to help keep eyeballs up into that show, get as many people in the community to watch the show, even if it's more dev focused, to try to like keep, even if they're not trying to get to new people. I think that it's important, if Stadia is going to stick around the way they say they're going to, and they have tweeted that, we're not going anywhere. I mean, you can never believe that kind of thing with a company. I hate to tell you, they will sell to you till the day they close. That's every business ever in existence. But if you believe what they've been saying and they're going to stick around, it is important to bring that community with you and to keep them involved and as hyped as possible. Dev event or game event, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. So I was just, thinking to speculate. Do you think that they know the audience, right, so well that whatever news, even if it's geared towards the dev, they know that stadiums are going to be head over here. So like,
100%.
For instance, last year, it was geared towards the devs, but I saw an excitement like I've never saw before with stadiums with the news, right? So do you think going into it this time, they're like, oh, this is going to be for the devs, but we know that stadiums are still going to, get a kick out of this.
Yeah, and I've said that before, how every group, every tech company has its base that they can draw from. And when Stadia released, and even to now, their biggest base was Google Tech fans, right?
Yeah,
the people who love
that.
who love Google Tech and all their devices and that. So they were able to draw on that and get a lot of people who just love Google products to come. They came to Stadia, or people who had been away from gaming and like Google, and they're like, wow, Google's doing gaming. And they came into it, which is awesome. So I think you would be right to say that, because those Google Tech people would be super interested in the dev conferences. They're people who care about the stuff I care about, tech numbers and performance and all the different cool stuff. So a lot of Stadia players are actually just really into tech and into Google products.
Yeah. All right.
Which is what's made the platform so different, because
Yeah.
it's not your typical gaming platform, which it's caused Stadia to struggle because of that. But that's always why I say I still think Stadia can carve out a very special place for itself if it does it right and finds the right path.
Yeah. So I don't want to put people on blast, but I thought about this, right? I think Stadia knows who all is still following them. And the stadiums are ride or die, right? They're gonna ride, no matter what. They're gonna ride, right? So it's quite interesting. I was like, why would they post this in the blog? And I thought, who the hell reads this stuff, right? it's for the enthusiasts. I don't think like a normal consumer is typing up Google Stadia, what's the latest news. I'm just gonna be real. If you look at Google Stadia and Google search, there's not a lot of people searching for it. There was at one point like a hype interest, but no, there's not a lot of people. But there's still diehard fans who are in this and want to know everything about it. So my question is like, I think Stadia knows that, and I think this might be geared towards them. And as far as like expectations for this event, this just made me shrink it a little bit more. So again, who the hell reads this? And I'm not putting y'all on blast if you don't have to look. I'm just trying to showcase something here. But if you look at the people who actually read this, they comment on these blog posts, and it's quite interesting. I was just like scrolling, trying to see who who might be interested in this and why would they put this here. All right, so we'll scroll down and take a look at some of the comments. Again, these are people I would say who read this, right? So I'm assuming if you have a logo, it means you're. Would that mean like their founder, or what does this mean? Do you know?
No
You would
clue.
know before me, Ace, on.
I would assume that they're founders, or that's my assumption. People in the comments will let me know. But again, if they're founders, we have one founder, we have two founders, we have three founders, we have four founders. So pretty much everyone, it seems like, who is commenting on here are founders of Stadia. I mean, I'm not seeing one person without one of these cute things.
And you'll
Correct me if
see a
I'm
lot of
wrong.
the same people week to week as well.
Right. Or I
which
see
is
one
it's
person.
a strong community.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So again, for Stadia to know this, know who the followers are, they might not have stuff for the consumers, but they know Stadians are ride or die. Again, the last dev conference was geared towards. I don't think I don't think a lot of things there was towards the consumers, but the consumers ate it up. I heard a lot of Stadia consumers like talking about that, like it was the best thing since second coming, right? So maybe that's what this is, right? Again, trying to temper expectations here, but they seem to be targeting people who are like really following this product, to put this in blog post, to tweet about it. I think this might sound bad, but I think the normal consumer is not searching Google Stadia. Like a normal gamer who's not like a cloud enthusiast, who's not a Stadia, they probably not. They probably don't even know this event is happening. But again, it goes back to Google knowing the Stadia team knowing who follows them, and maybe that's who they're targeting with this event. It's gonna be interesting. We don't have a lot of. We have 3 days before the show, so let's see what this is about. But yeah, man. Anyone else with this? I do want to get to the other stadium news because they did have some pretty good announcement this week. And again, I still say their week was better than GFN's, but let's get right into this, man. Anyone else for that Stadia event before we hop right into this?
I did want to briefly mention, yeah, I do think it's going to be very tech focused event. The problem I have is them advertising it so openly on Twitter, because Twitter to me is more consumer facing than probably, yeah, you're right, these blog posts. But I would also say that there are also regular consumers that do read blog posts. I think there's a reason why Xbox releases blog posts almost daily uh, about like upcoming games and stuff of that nature. And it's not just for the enthusiast; it's also for like a general consumer. They also release, I think, YouTube videos of this week on Xbox and like just have all their games. So there's always different avenues that people are going to find that content and check it out. But but I just don't think that they should have advertised as heavily if it is going to be just this tech event specifically designed more towards developers, which that's what I think it's going to be.
Yeah. So, correct me
Oh,
if
yeah.
I'm wrong. If you're writing a blog post, it's mainly for the people who are following you, right? Like a normal consumer who has no interest in Stadia is not gonna be like on Google searching for Google Stadia blog. What that is for people who are already invested in your service or product. No?
I mean, I still know people who go to newspaper websites and read articles there.
Okay.
So I think it really varies depending on the type of person you are.
Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough. All right, so back to the Stadia news. Again, we had some pretty games now. I'm not a big fan of this, but these games seem to be really popular. And I think they're good gets for Stadia. Again, it's probably a game that my kid will pick up and play. But City Skylines is one of them. So that looks pretty good. It's a very seems like a popular game to gamers. So shout out to you. I know Duncan is probably doing backflips now because of that. But shout outs to you guys. We had Overcooked All You Can Eat. Now again, this was another game that my daughter saw and she was like clapping, that Stadia is gonna get this one soon. This is a good game. It's a good multiplayer game. It's a good family game. And we have golf with your friends. Okay. So those are the 3 games announced for Google Stadia. I would say good games, right? So, Jared, what's your take on these games coming to Google Stadia this week?
So I was kind of alluding to it in the GeForce Now discussion that it wasn't great for me for either service or platform this week. However, if I am the base that we were just talking about, the Google fan, the person who's, the Stadia ride or die, and that's pretty much your platform, I am jumping up and down for City Skylines because I am a lifelong SimCity fan. And I don't know if a lot of people know, but the SimCity game that came out bombed. I forget what year it was. It did not do well. It was like broken up on all these little stupid areas. You couldn't build the city the way you wanted to. And then Cities Skylines came out and just like solved all the issues that we were having with SimCity forever. And I fell in love with it. I played it a ton on console and on PC. It's obviously best with mouse and keyboard because it is a building game and a sim game. So very playable with controller. I did it on Xbox, but keyboard and mouse is better. That's the game for me that it's older, but if you haven't played it and you're wanting something a little different on Stadia, City Skylines is where it's at. I absolutely love the game. I don't know how many couple 100, 200, 300, 400 hours I have in it between console and PC, but I love it.
Sorry, Jared, take over real quick. 1 second.
Got you.
Um,
He's killing me today. Killing me today, Ace. But yeah, for me, City Skylines. I'm not gonna belittle that game. I think that is a great title to come anywhere, even if it's older. I love it.
for me, it's got to be Golf with Friends and Overcooked. Those two are great party games. I already own Golf with Friends on PC. One of my friends wanted me to play with him so bad that he's like, "I will give this to you on Steam," and so now I own it on Steam.
I've been there and done that before. I've bought games for friends that they're like, "I'm not playing it with you if I have to buy it," and I'm like, "Well, get ready to be gifted because you're playing it with me."
It was on sale. It was like $7, and like, they'll give it to me. But yeah, they're a lot of fun. I've played Overcooked and I've played Golf with Friends. And my biggest complaint about these 3 titles is that they're accessible elsewhere already, and that's why I was kind of alluding. Stadia is still doing catch up to some of these other platforms that already have these titles and are playable. Like I think xCloud has City Skylines, Golf with Friends, and I think they got Overcooked 2, but not the first one. I could have sworn they had the original a while back though.
Am I right or wrong? I'm trying to look up the news though. Is there something special with Overcooked on Stadia where it has like a first ever online multiplayer or something like that going on? I can't scroll Ace's screen. All
Not
right.
that I'm aware of.
I might have read that somewhere else, but as far as where did it go now? As far as City Skylines, free, so the Epic Game Store, this was the free game, City Skylines, and you can play it on GFN. So this is what some people are alluding to. Um, that's cool, but just strictly talking from the Stadia standpoint, I think it was a good game. Golf with Friends again. That's actually another game I like as well. It just wasn't for me. I just don't quite have the passion for it that I have for City Skylines. What was the other one that we had? Overcooked, right? Yeah, that's not Ryan's World. Overcooked. They got DLC. I think they've got the DLC right for Ragnarok. All right. I swore there was a mode. I was trying to look it up. Ace would know if
For
he
the
can
first time
tell.
ever, online multiplayer has been fully integrated into Overcooked. But I don't
Right?
think that's a Stadia exclusive
Okay.
thing.
Okay. That's what I was trying to confirm if it was or not, because I mean that would be kind of cool if they had an actual
Let me double
exclusive
check
feature that wasn't anywhere else. I don't know if any of you guys in chat know that or could confirm that either, but that's something I've been trying to figure out myself as well. He's back.
Sorry, guys. So it's really windy here, and I have a tent, and the wind is just like literally taking my tent. Now we have like sandbags, but for some reason they're not doing the job. So the wife just comes here freaking out, man. Freaks me out, man. But sorry, yo. So I'm back. Yeah, we good? Cool. All right. Go ahead, Joe.
Pretty much me and Maker gave our take on the games and what we thought. City Skylines for me, Golf with Friends for him.
Okay.
And we were trying to figure out if the feature of the online multiplayer was exclusive to State, like a new thing for that version of the game on Stadia,
Yeah.
or if it was pre-existing and they're just advertising it with the game.
I
Right.
see here in 2018, Overcooked 2 got online co-op multiplayer. So I don't think it's exclusive to Stadia.
Do you so this might be funny, but do you think it's a smack to the competition's face? The fact that Amazon Luna has these kiddie-ish games, but they don't have online play.
I think Luna's the only one that doesn't.
Yeah, that's who
Uh,
I'm pretty much targeting here with that. It might be petty, but I thought that was like good that they were highlighting that this game has online, but it just made me question like, was
No,
that
it's right to point
Well-
out, because I'm still mad that Sonic Racing on Luna didn't have the
crazy.
online multiplayer, because I love, like,
crazy.
I was looking forward to it, and I still don't have it, and I do wish it was there.
Yeah. I
So-
still can't wrap my head around the fact Luna does not have a line. Like what?
I think for certain games like this one, it wouldn't affect it because of the couch feature, because that's effectively what this online is you're playing co-op with other people. It's just couch would do that effectively.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
not for this title, but yeah, if it was like a bigger title that's like, oh, we got online, but Luna doesn't.
Yeah. Okay. So the third news for Stadia this week is Ubisoft related. What are your thoughts about this? Whether you're interested in wielding powers in Assassin's Creed Valhalla, mastering your memory in Trials Pursuit, or psyched to try the upcoming Rainbow Six Siege new season. They're hyping this up. Again, you have available now, play Assassin's Creed Valhalla. By the way, anyone play that game? I'm curious to know how this runs. I have it because I have Ubisoft Plus, but I haven't tried it yet because there's just so much going on. And then highlighting March 17, Trial Pursuit launches in the Google Stadia store. Next week, Rainbow Six. So they are like dedicating a whole block to Ubisoft. Is this good? Are you guys, I mean, are you guys excited about this? Do you want to see this format of, again, just advertising? Or would you guys rather have all of this stuff on your bi-weekly blog? What are your thoughts?
I think this would have been a pretty big bi-week. It almost, like, I think it would have been too much, because what happens is, and we all experience this, is we watch E3, right? And we watch the big shows and we're, yeah. And then like 10 minutes after the show, we're sitting there like, wait, they announced that. Wait, like you swear you got it. But
Yeah.
like you just start, the stuff starts to drop off of your head. I think that if it gets too big, you lose too many things. And
That's true.
the targeted releases, like I said earlier, I think this is good. I don't know, I still want to see them. Like I want to see the steady bi-weekly, like every 2 weeks, give some kind of a recap. But if you've got stuff to drop in between, go for it because those can become overwhelming. Like there's a lot of information between all of these.
Okay. Okay. That's a good point with it there being like a lot at once, right? If they wait and who knows, bi-weekly, it would have meant that we would have got the news from the previous week included with all of this as well. So you might be right. It might be just too much at once. But yeah, this is going to be quite interesting to see if this is a format that continues, right? But makers, what are your thoughts? Do you prefer this format or would you like everything bi-weekly?
I kind of prefer them separated. It definitely seems like this is a bit more organized. You can have like a Ubisoft blog. You can have you know, the fun new games, City Skylines, Overcooked, etc., coming to the platform. I think it's a good way to kind of compartmentalize each of these and dish it out to your users.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. So, just to let you guys know for the viewers who are watching, I came on earlier saying we're gonna do something different this episode because we just have a smaller cast and also because there's just not a lot of news in cloud gaming space. So we are gonna be open. We're gonna be doing some Q&A stuff. We all three of us. So if you guys have any questions about the channel, about cloud gaming, start shooting away and just put like QA so I can know it's a question to pull it up because I see you guys talking amongst yourself. So pull like QA and put your question and I'll pull it up here in a bit. We still have one more platform to cover, and that's Xbox Cloud Gaming. I would just say the biggest game to release was Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy. And Jerry, you were saying you haven't even played it yet. That was like one of your favorite games last year, right? Are you
Yeah, it's one of the
excited
few
about
games
this
I beat
release?
last year.
Yeah.
Yeah, extremely, man, and not just for xCloud, but for me for Game Pass because the Guardians of the Galaxy was one of the first games that I strictly only played on cloud and beat it on
Yeah.
cloud. I played it on GeForce Now's 3080 on the Shield, 4K 60 all the way through, and I loved it. It was such a good game. And then I wanted to play it on Xbox because I got to get my achievements, and I wanted to play through it again anyway. So, but I was holding off on buying it because you just know it's going to wind up at Game Pass eventually, at least for a little while.
Eventually, yeah.
And it did. So, yeah, I've got it downloaded on both the Xboxes and ready to go on cloud and on PC. So I want to check it out all the way through Game Pass. But I'm always super interested to see how xCloud's going to run a certain game because, man, it's like so hit and miss with
Yeah.
how good the stream quality is and the latency is and that type of thing. I think we were both fairly impressed with Flight Simulator. I think that the time
Yeah.
they took to get that game running the way it needed
Yeah.
to, I'm pretty impressed with how that game runs on cloud. Now, I've seen and heard that Guardians of the Galaxy isn't running great on xCloud, but I got to jump in and kind of see that for myself here on how
Yeah.
that's doing. But I haven't gotten to try it yet.
Okay. And just looking at the games, we also got Young Souls, which you guys know was a Google Stadia, timed exclusive, I believe, for a
Yeah.
little bit. And then we have a game called Kentucky Route Zero TV Edition. Don't know what the hell this game's about. So if one of you guys know, let me know. But
Yeah,
it's like a
it's
dog
in
with a hat. That's the like what the hell am I looking at here?
it's
Go
an
ahead,
indie
buddy.
game that
Is it?
came out a while back. It got critical acclaim. I think it's got like a high 80s in terms of Metacritic score.
Okay. So
My brother's girlfriend, she really liked the game, but it's obviously story based and it's a lot of text. So if you like reading, it's probably for you.
okay. So it's a Duncan type of game, right? Good
Probably.
to know. Okay. How about you, Jared? What's your take on Young Souls and Kentucky Route Zero?
Yeah, I've not played either one of them. I do know about Kentucky Route Zero because it was one of the higher rated like indie style type games. I know if it's not a AAA game, you're not necessarily jumping in. There's some AA games that grab you, but I don't think either one of us are like. Maybe because we're getting older, maybe it's time, but I just don't have a lot of time for indie games or AA games these days. I tend to gravitate towards the bigger releases. It just
Yeah.
is what it is. I mean, most of the time I like to sit here and argue with you, but like a lot of the time in my head, I'm like, yeah, I'm only playing big banger AAAs
yeah,
too.
there you go. There you go.
Because that's the truth of the matter. I experiment with a lot of games, right? You boot them
Yeah.
up for a few minutes or an hour, you try them out. Wow, that game's beautiful, or they
Yeah.
did a great job, or whatever. But you got those big games you just go and play, and that you want
Yeah.
to be part of. So
Yeah.
I've not really gotten into these either. I'm aware of them. It's good to get it on there, but Guardians of the Galaxy for me, that's just the big. That's you drop that
Right.
on there, and that's your month.
Yeah, true. You know, we make fun of Duncan a lot on this show, and I want to say, like, shout Duncan is a true gamer, right? You were
He
just
goes
saying,
for
like,
everything.
you only play the bangers, I only play the bangers, but this dude literally will play, like, anything, bro. Like, bangers, indies, simulators.
He
So
actually
Duncan,
gravitates
shout
even
outs to
away
you.
from AAA sometimes.
He
He's like,
does. He does.
you know,
Yeah.
just
I'll pick up this.
back to Slay the
This-
Spire for me.
Yeah.
So true, but shout outs to Duncan.
I think it's a good. Where'd Ace go?
Come on, Ace, you're killing me, bro.
I think it's good to try both. To me, indies are usually filler. Indies are usually filler titles for me. But there are some great ones. You know, Undertale, Hyperlight Drifter is one of my favorite kind of indie
Yeah.
titles. Owlboy is another really good one.
You
So-
said
so-
Hellboy.
Owlboy.
Oh,
It's
okay.
it's where you're like this owl person that it's like a 2D. It's I'm not even gonna explain it. It's pixel art. It's a really pretty game. It's really good.
Yeah. You know, my favorite indie game is Dawn of Monsters, man. Like that game is really good. Really good.
You've actually
It's-
convinced me about that game because you keep talking about
Yeah,
it.
dude.
It comes out in 3 days on Switch, so I'm gonna be playing it on my Switch OLED because I already went and pre-ordered it based on
Okay.
you. So I better
Okay.
like it.
do you still have Stadia Pro? Or no.
Yeah, because I was gonna dump it and then I came over to CGX and I'm like, dang it, I'm probably gonna need to be able to make some 4K Stadia videos or do programs. So, I as a content creator, I have had
You
Stadia
have-
since
yeah.
January 2020.
Yeah.
Okay, so never lapsed a month. I've supported it just like everyone else, but for different reasons.
So for those of you guys who call us Stadia haters, we just convinced someone to keep Stadia. You know, so
But
give us.
I
some
gotta
props.
play the monster game on here on my OLED. I just gotta do it, man.
I was
Because
gonna
that's the
say-
kind of game I'll play on the go, on my couch, going to bed, whatever. Still love my Switch. It's a perfect game for me on there. You know, I don't like the game on the phone. I like a dedicated.
Yeah,
That's why I need my Steam Deck.
console.
You suck.
Let me just rub this in a little.
Don't do it. I knew it. I held up the Switch. I'm like, maybe he'll hold it up. Yes. Yes.
a little
can't-
rub in there. Yeah.
You're
can't
only
wait for
2,500
mine.
miles away. I can be there
Yeah.
soon.
But no, it's awesome. Like this thing is again, I haven't really put that much time into it because making content, but it just makes you want to play. So the Switch, when I got it, like I kind of gave up with gaming, and that made me want to play games. That's what this is doing, you know, like games that I probably, you know, had no intentions of playing. Like I was playing God of War, and I've had that game since it launched on PC, but again, no excitement to play it. But now I'm like almost 3 hours in, you know. Some
And
of
for you,
guys might
portability
laugh.
is king.
It's king.
Like and to play games like that, like
Yeah.
you're talking God of
Oh
War
my
and stuff.
goodness.
That's awesome.
Oh my goodness, I can't wait for you guys to get it. Like you guys are gonna be gaming more than you're gaming now. I'll tell you that. And you were talking about Elden Ring Maker. That's like the perfect game for that device, man.
I know he's waiting.
I've
for
heard
perfect
it.
game.
I've heard it runs good on it, and
It does.
And to me, because like I'm currently working from home, and I know at some point we're going to be shifting back into the office,
Office,
and
yeah.
having that on my lunch breaks, go play some Elden Ring.
Yeah.
It's gonna be great.
Yeah. So I have a video that is gonna come out, but I think it's the killer cloud gaming combo. Like there's some issues with it right now with getting controller support to run cloud gaming, but once they figure that out, this is the perfect, because again, with cloud, you get the full advantage of maxing out, for instance, like playing Destiny, right? Max resolution, max graphical settings. And then having that, Destiny is a bad example because you need online, but a game like Guardians of the Galaxy in GFN, right? Playing at max resolution on GFN and then having to go somewhere like to work, not having a good Wi-Fi reception, having it stored in your Steam Deck to continue play. Oh, it's like the perfect combination, and I'm so excited again for you guys to really get your hands on that, man. You're gonna love it. You're gonna love it. All right. I don't know what are we talking about, man. We just went
You took
that
You were on Dawn of
You-
Monsters, and I pulled out the Switch OLED, then you destroyed me with the Steam Deck
much.
on there, and then we just all started thinking about Steam Deck. So that's all. We're on to Steam Deck now, which I did want to ask you because I was curious.
Yeah.
You said you haven't gotten there like enjoyed a lot, like play too much, but you've been making a lot of content. You've been doing cloud. You've been doing local. You think cloud will be a big one for like how's your battery doing on you, man? You think cloud and streaming will help you when you need it?
That's a great question. So I plan on doing 2 reviews. I'm going to do a local review for the other channel. I'm going to do a cloud review for this channel. And that is the beauty. Like the battery drains, especially like this different like performance mode that you can set for the Steam Deck, like to see your FPS count and all that stuff. That kills the battery really fast. So if you take that all you get about like 2 to 3. It's kind of like the Switch equivalent to battery life, I would say. But then if you play in the cloud, you get in about like 5 to 6, man. It extends the battery. So that's another
Nice.
advantage
Yeah.
that you get with cloud over, because again, you're not
I don't-
relying on your GPU.
I don't know if you'll
to-
take the time to do this, but just hearing you talk about that, like doubling the battery life with cloud and stuff, I
Yeah.
would love to see you pick a game,
Uh-huh.
play it locally to battery dead and time it, play it cloud, battery to dead and time it. The same game, same set. Like go ahead and go through it and just see what happens and like how much more time you get out of that specific game. That would be a really cool metric.
So that would mean I would have to sit somewhere ideal for like
I mean, it's work
3 hours.
Or-
and
not
then
gonna lie.
6 hours.
or stream.
I don't think you should. You don't even have to stream it. Just like leave a camera
Have
recording
it
it.
on. Right.
Yeah,
Oh.
and that way you can time it, and like you could create a pretty decent video on that.
So you mean
Showcasing.
like keep it on, have the camera focused on it, and then
Yep.
just let it kill itself, and
Yep.
then I'll do that tonight. My biggest fear is I come down and my Steam Deck is dead, like completely. But yeah, I can do that. It'll be good for the review for sure. But yeah.
Yeah, when you first get a device like that, you're running the heck out of it.
Oh
So it's
my
like you're always
goodness.
worried. I know when I get mine, it's going to go from
Yeah.
nice and fresh to like
Yeah.
2 weeks in, a poor old lady trying to struggle its way through. I'm going to
I-
wear it out.
I can tell you like how many times I've tried to recharge, especially like when you get yours, knowing you probably have like the performance up to see the FPS count and all that stuff, and that like kills the battery in half, So
Yeah.
yeah, but it's one of my favorite. You guys know me. I have a lot of tech with the Odin and One X Play. This is by far like the most impressive gaming tech I've tried in a while. It's really fun, really fun. All right, anything else before we start with the questions?
No, because I'll just keep asking about Steam Deck the next 54 minutes. So
This would
we'll
be a
just wait.
Steam
We're
Deck
good.
Podcast. Cool. Again, man, great device. All right, so let's start with the questions. Ron Slusher. So I feel so bad for this company, man. Can't stress that enough. These guys were supposed to launch in the US last year, and because of COVID, they delayed, and then they were about to launch in January, ran into some difficulties with logistic stuff, and then they were supposed to launch February, and then the war started. So it's like they just can't catch any break. But they did say that it's something that they're still working on. And I would advise you, I made a video on this, test it out, because some people are actually getting a decent experience here in the US, including myself. I know Vet Cloud Gaming is also getting a decent experience. So depending on your location, you actually might be able to run the service pretty well. So test it out, see if it works. If it doesn't, don't continue with it. But yeah, it's just a bummer. They keep running into issues with the launch for sure. Why aren't any cloud service platform getting Elden Ring? That's a great question, dude. That's I'm not gonna lie. That's makes the Steam Deck to me even more appealing. Because now I can play some of these games that Shadow's beautiful, don't get me wrong, but it's performance wise, it's not the greatest. And then having to also, I'm not gonna do that. Shadow's good, but just having a device that you can locally store games on sometimes is not bad. And yeah, they should. They
You're
should.
right, man. Cloud PCs are awesome, but they're a little more cumbersome and it takes you longer to get in, longer
Yeah,
to get your stuff
yeah,
going. It's a more PC experience. And
yeah,
like, if you're just wanting to jump into a game and you're not going
yeah,
to have a long time, it's not great, right? So that's where
yeah.
Stadia and GFN's better. But like you said,
Exactly.
the Steam Deck sitting right there. If a game's not on cloud, you can play it right there, ready
Right
to
there.
go.
Yeah.
If you
It,
can stream it, great. But
mm. It makes a good companion, but you're right about Virgin Cloud. You actually have to boot it up, and then you gotta wait for patches at times, and then you have to download the game. Like, just being realistic, all those little extra steps. I, Me personally, I didn't own a console, so I was willing to do it, right, to play the game that I want to play, especially like NBA 2K. I got like 70 hours in there using Shadow PC, but now just having it right there, all I have to do is power it on and get right into it. It's beautiful,
But I
man.
think How Monkey
Not gonna
also hits on
lie.
the biggest point of all with cloud, and we've been talking about this on and off for a couple of weeks. And it's just too many games missing. And while all
Mm-hmm.
cloud's performance is getting really good, like we're getting there, I would say xCloud's suffering, but like we're getting there with performance where it's
Yeah.
impressive even to local gamers like myself. But then you go and say, okay, content wise, wherever you go, you hit a wall, and no matter
Yeah.
what service you go to. And
Yeah.
I don't know. That's one of the most frustrating parts for me when it comes to cloud now is just like the whole content situation. And
Yeah.
Lost Ark, I'm surprised didn't go to GFN since New World made its way
Yeah.
onto GFN rather quickly. I kind of thought that was just going to be a blink, drop it right in thing
Yeah.
because they've
Yeah.
already been talking. But
I forgot who mentioned this, but this might. So that game is a beast, right? And again, just breaking record, play based record. So having this game of it being a free game, right? Having a free tier in GFN, right? I think that would even, and people not having the rig to play, they probably will use GFN. I know Fortnite, a lot of people use GFN to play because, again, free tier, free Fortnite. So maybe that didn't get the game on there, and maybe Amazon didn't allow because that's just an issue. Right now, they're trying to maintain service
yeah,
because people are trying to get on to play that game. So
I
having
wish
an
they would
additional
stop
50
the
million,
free
yeah,
tier, man.
at
I wish they would
GFN.
stop the free. Either stop the free tier altogether
Uh-huh.
because it does cause issues like that, and I'm also kind of tired of seeing people put up stuff from the free tier and say this is GFN.
Yeah,
The free tier was
yeah,
always meant to kind of be a way to see if it was going to work well
right,
for you,
right,
and then good jump into the real experience and not just hang on the free. But the way they set it up, people just hang on the free, and then they talk
uh,
about the queues or the bad stream experience or the
yeah,
servers or this or that. And it's like, man, that's not the experience you get when you're normally playing. I wish
that's
they would just
true.
eliminate that
Yeah.
and offer a free trial, 7 days on whatever tier you want, like anybody else, and go for it. Or turn the free tier into like it has 6 games. You try it and see
Oh,
if it works for you, but not every. You know what I mean? There's ways to tweak it to where
oh,
they could really just do something better with that. It really
yeah.
frustrates me.
Just like
Make it
what
game.
Amazon is doing with Luna in a way, right?
Right.
I was, I was gonna
Luna
say if they
Price.
d-
Yeah. Sorry, go
If
ahead.
if they do the 6 games, make them games that people don't play a lot. Like put some
So like a
simulators on
sample, right?
there.
So,
Yeah.
oh, okay, it works. It doesn't work, and then you
Yeah.
move on. Like just get people off of that.
Yeah,
That's
don't put
that's a good
Fortnite on
point.
there because
Yeah, people won't leave, right? People won't leave.
exactly.
But no, that's a good point. I didn't even think about that, but because I can't tell you how many people we talked to, and they're like, "Oh, GFN has queues." I'm like, "What? No, they don't." It's like, "Well, I was testing out the free tiers." That's why. But yeah, it does at times give like people a bad impression of the service as a whole. But I think it's good for them though because they can claim numbers through that. They can say, "Oh,
Yep.
we got 20 free, million users who are testing out the service." So they can use that for the numbers game, but it might hurt them in the long run if people have bad experience with it. But yeah,
I
Or if it
I think
holds
it
games like Lost Ark back because they
that's
don't
true.
want that amount of people jumping on and clamming things up, then
Yeah.
don't offer it on the free. Only have it available on paid tier.
Yeah.
for me,
Ooh.
I think it's more of a benefit because the more users that they have on the service, the more developers are willing to
Yeah.
sign up.
Yeah.
And I think that's the key thing.
Right. Jerry was wondering if they can do something like that. If they can offer games specifically for paid members, if that's the
Sure.
issue.
They could lock it down however they want. There's even
Yeah.
games you can't play on your phone that won't pop up. Like they did that
Yeah.
with Fortnite and stuff. Or what was the other one? Death Stranding won't pop up on your Xbox
Yeah.
if you're on the browser. But you go, what if you go over to a PC? It's there, so they can lock out. They can do anything they want with that.
I think you know how they said that they're like early access for like Genshin Impact and stuff like that.
Mm.
Do that, but say early access to select subscription users, and I'm sure they'll probably pick up some people too
Yeah.
to subscribe just to play the game if they can.
It's not a bad idea. It's not a bad. So Mister said if Sony doesn't release an Android app or dude, I will give up on this platform. And like no, seriously, that's like my last hope for PlayStation Now. If they release without a mobile and keep it exclusive to PCs, oh, I'll be so so upset. But yeah, I hear you. I hear you. They will lose a lot of people, you know. But something that I was reading some rumors that Spartacus might not be what we think it'll be, especially like when it comes to from what I'm hearing, it's gonna be just like it is with PlayStation Now. You hopefully would be able to play it on more devices, but then the biggest thing is trials. That's the biggest thing. But from what I'm assuming with that, it's just you testing games out. So I don't think you'd be able to like play full same day release AAA game like you can with Xbox, Game Pass. So you might just be able to test it out and see if you like it or not, so you can make the purchase. If that's the case, I'm not interested in that as well. I already have PlayStation Now right now.
The only thing that gives me some hope is I'll take you back to what's his name, the CEO, Jim Ryan, made the statement of we do want to move past hardware and go beyond the millions of gamers into the hundreds of millions and into the kind of like Xbox, and to do that you'll have to lean on cloud and you'll have to lean on that being available on more devices, right? Otherwise, how will you ever reach them? So I will still hold hope just based on some of past comments that maybe we are going to get what we want. However, I don't know if Spartacus is it. There could be something else. Like this could be a tiered thing where they slowly release a few iterations that get them to where they're going to be. Not this one big snap, and becomes what we want. That's kind of what I'm thinking.
That's a good point. Didn't think about that. But this leak did say that this Spartacus should have like some cloud. So again, it might just be them bundling PlayStation
and
Now.
Shadow Warrior 3, man. The reason why I got to play that through on my PS5 was because of PS Now. That was one of like the first day and date titles ever, which has caused more speculation about Spartacus, right? Because we got Shadow Warrior 3 day and date on PS Now, and I was able to stream that on PC and download it on my PlayStation and play it. So
I was reading. I'm gonna just flash this comment, flash it up. I was reading this and I read it inappropriately, and I was like, "Holes, what the hell are you talking about?" But okay, I got you, Holes. I got you.
We're talking gaming here.
I was like, "What?" But let's take this question up. With the war going on in Ukraine, can never say that. Can we see more cyber attack? Oh, dude, this is affecting a lot of people. So my brother-in-law was hacked, and maybe it's just coincidence, but he was hacked recently. Never been hacked before, and my sister was just hacked. So I don't know again if it's cyber attack stuff going on, but I'm hearing more and more people getting hacked. But yeah, it potentially can. I mean, you guys heard about Nvidia again. We don't know if it's due to that or not, but they recently was hacked, and there was some stuff that was supposed to be happening with the cloud that, in a way, it's not happening anymore because they got hacked. So yes, I definitely can see that, affecting cloud as a whole. And Boosteroid, for instance, I don't know if it's related to site. I think it's just the war and logistic in general, but companies get hacked and they have to restructure, reshift their plan and focus. So
Yeah, with or without the war, cyber attacks have been on the rise constantly, and of course, since the war, it's hundreds of percent higher now per day, that the attacks are happening all over the place. So with the way cloud works, it's much more likely that something gets taken down than it does like your local. I mean, we've suffered with hacks for local as well. Like you would go to get on PSN, PlayStation Network or Xbox, and they attacked. It got shut down for. These things have always existed, but yeah, they're definitely growing and persisting even more now.
Yeah, that's a good point. You mentioned, Mister, how is Steam Deck compared to the One X player? I actually have a video coming up, and it's different actually when you compare it to local and when you compare it to cloud. Because with cloud, I think the One X Play actually has some advantages over the Steam Deck. But locally, hands down, Steam Deck just eats it for breakfast when it comes to like performance. Games just look better, they run better. An advantage that you would think with the One X Play for gaming, right, is the beautiful display 8.4 1440p. But when you have not so powerful graphics card, you can't actually, local games can't take advantage of that screen, right? You have to bring the resolution to 720 to get a good solid FPS count. So that defeats the whole purpose. But then if you have cloud where you don't have to worry about the GPU and CPU, you can use the internet like GFN and get the beautiful, they don't have, you can get the beautiful 1440p with that and max out. So it looks better with a Steam Deck it looks better with a One X Play in the cloud compared to Steam Deck, because the cloud is doing all the hard work and you can benefit from that beautiful display. So yeah, it should have, if I have time, should have a video coming soon with that. Just get a Kichi controller for what? For Shadow? You still have to log in. I think this question came when we were talking about Steam Deck versus using a Virtual PC. You still have to
I have a Backbone and a Kishi, and I gave up on cloud PCs on a phone or a tablet. Really, it just kind of became too cumbersome to really get into. Yeah, one of my favorite controllers, really. That controller right there. It's good.
But I think what you said, Jerry, about like having I didn't think this was important, but having a dedicated gaming portable device is the way to go. Having your phone free to Discord or answer chat is my preference now. Before I was like, oh, I'm gonna try to take advantage of getting a big phone like this. The Fold 3, right, has a big display, but there's just something about like gaming on there that kind of like I'm always in Discord talking to you guys, and yes, you can do that as you gaming, but it's just not the same. But having a dedicated device, you can do both, and I think that's the way to go. At least for me right now, I'm really enjoying it. But
You just keep coming more and more to my side. I love it.
it's crazy.
The 800p screen's okay. You know, I mean,
Dude,
he's enjoyed the dedicated device because I know I got tore up on that before a few
Yeah.
months ago. But
Yeah.
I love it though. I love it.
Yeah.
And when people get hands on with something like that, it just really makes you realize, and it really just opens your mind. Like, wow, like this
Yeah.
is. It still feels like gaming.
Mm-hmm.
And when I'm on my phone and stuff, yeah, I can cloud game and it's cool and the experience
Mm-hmm.
is there, but it doesn't have that magical feeling like a gaming, like an actual dedicated device does.
Yeah. Hands down. Hands down. Thanks to you. Yeah. Good stuff. What's going on, people? How excited are you for Tuesday? Sorry. Oh boy.
For the event for Tuesday, right?
Yeah. I don't know.
Well, we tempered expectations. We talked
Yeah,
about it. I don't think
yeah.
Anthony was on here yet, though, when we
No.
were discussing it.
No. It's
I want
gonna
to know
be
where he's playing WWE 2K22
That is so funny. You
because
say
that's
this.
his game, and
so
I know he said he needed it.
Let me rub this in a little bit, real quick.
The reviews are great, man. I'm about to pick it up, and that's not even. I haven't played.
Wait,
a game
is
like
it
that in
out
a while,
yet?
But yes, it came out yesterday officially.
Wait, what's it called?
11th WWE 2K22.
Oh,
The reviews are great. They revamped the whole game. They took a year off, and what I've seen so far is pretty impressive. It's obviously it's a wrestling game. It's not for everybody, but I have fun with those sometimes. It looks really good. There you go.
I can hit play right now and play that, Anthony. Is it time to get a Steam Deck, Anthony?
The funny thing is, I was going to buy that on my Xbox, but
Steam Deck, yeah.
I think I'm going to get it on PC because of
Yeah.
the Steam Deck.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. It's about time you pick it up now, making fun of it. But no, I haven't even played it yet. That's for video purposes. But
you
yeah,
played
man.
2K22, right? What did you think?
Oh, loved it,
Yeah?
dude. Like I
Cool.
was saying, just the fact that I don't have to because I only played it through Shadow because that was the only way to play it. So the fact that I don't have to depend on internet, and it actually, so the thing with using a virtual PCs, you're dependent on internet connection. So 2K at times for me, especially like when I'm at work trying to use Shadow to play it, if the work there's just something about the performance relying on Wi-Fi because you need Wi-Fi and then you're online playing against others. So but this, I can be at work and have a better gameplay experience for some reason because I think it's not dependent on the internet to kick it off. So like I'm playing online and it's just smooth compared to me playing online with Shadow PC at work and it's not smooth. Same internet connection but better performance on the Steam Deck. So yeah, it sounds like I'm selling this device, but I
No,
think
dude,
it's
everybody's
great.
talking really
think
well
it's
about. I mean,
great.
it's hard to find a really bad review. Everyone knows what it is. It's not a fully finished product. It's for enthusiasts. It's for people that want that experience. You're having a ton of fun with it. You're actually learning. Like I think you were
Yeah,
saying the other day,
dude.
like I have to become even more knowledgeable on PC because
Yeah.
I love this thing.
Yeah.
And that's what it's doing to people.
Yeah,
And the hype is real behind the device. So it's
crazy.
exciting.
It reminds me of Elden Ring, all the new players figuring that out for the first
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
Everybody like, wait, what is this?
Yeah, I need
Seriously.
to research this.
Like I'm not a big fan of Linux. If it wasn't this device, I probably would not touch it. But that is what the desktop is running. So I'm like on YouTube trying to learn a lot about it because it's I wouldn't say like it's better than Windows, but it does have its advanced. So Linus Tech put out a video today saying like you probably should not install Windows on there. And some of the stuff that he said is like the performance when you gaming on there, this advantage and benefit of gaming in Linux compared to Windows. And I would say like there was what game was that I was telling Death Stranding, right? Have you guys tried to play that game? Like the loading time, especially like in GFN, it's madness. That booted up here in less than 10 seconds, and I was like, holy crap. Like, so you do have some advantage with gaming on Linux, and I think I'm just learning a lot about Linux and Steam Deck, man. But yeah, again, talking about Steam Deck. All right. So Doc says, and Jerry, GTP, you mentioned this, right? You're saying this is not the start. Like, we're gonna see more of these portable handheld PCs, all right?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
of Steam Deck, like the
I
doors
started
just
talking
gonna
about it
be
last
open.
summer, man. Like the Steam Deck's the first one. The first man.
Yeah.
We have the Neos and the one, but a lot of those are expensive or the performance
Yeah.
isn't there. The real handheld product to come first was the Steam Deck.
Yeah.
Affordable price. Even
Yeah.
if you get a base model and throw an SD or change your hard drive later at $399, you can't
Yeah.
touch the performance. What you're getting for that price is insane. But I've seen prototypes and other things from other companies that have been getting ready. Lenovo's getting ready, HP is getting ready, MSI is getting ready. I mean, this market is going to open up, and you are going to have this $299 to probably $999 range of handheld PCs that'll be flooding out. Some of them are going to run the same Steam OS. You know, Valve wants other manufacturers to make Steam Deck type devices, and they want them to use their software to try to get it off of Windows. And I actually think there's a lot to be said for that. I was against it at first, but seeing the work they've put into it, the compatibility layer, how quickly games are verifying and running, like you said, loading quick, running well.
my goodness,
I'm for it. I love Windows. It's what I do, but I'm for it. So it's coming. The flood's coming. And the competition's already there because Steam's coming out as the first one, not even overpricing this stuff. Like saying, here's the competition, here's the price, here's the performance to beat. So yeah, these are on the way. Everyone will have them. You know, you'll even have your little Alienware deck one day. You know, I'm not going to get one, but like, it's all coming. It's a big new market, and it's going to be good for local and for cloud, I believe. I think it's going to help everything.
There's one point, Alienware. Did you see they put it's a prototype at CES. Let me see if I can pull it up. I was really excited. This was before the Steam Deck. Trying to pull it up, but they put out a portable device that it was white. It really got me excited, and this was when like the Switch was still. I mean, starting to pick it up.
Oh yeah, I think I do know what you're talking
I was
about.
gonna
Yeah,
pick this
it's a
up,
few years ago.
Yeah, let me see if I can find
But see, hardware wasn't there yet. You couldn't get the performance you can get now out of something like AMD's RDNA 2. And some of, like, we have come such a long way the past 3, 4, and 5 years in mobile ability, processing and the APUs and whatnot.
Yeah.
These things weren't possible until now.
Yeah. True. Here we go. Let me share my screen. And what's the name? It had a name.
And I know a lot of people, I know it's not a Steam Deck podcast, but a lot of people are going to be interested in Steam Deck because of cloud. And just a lot of the things right now are just still getting ironed out, you know, they're asking about, you know, when you ask about the hardware, this hardware is so new from AMD. That's why these things are still getting fixed and drivers didn't exist. And there's not even the full blown launch of laptops yet, which would normally land first. Normally AMD would put their mobile chips and APUs into laptops first and start shipping them. Valve was on it with them. They've actually got the newest stuff out before anybody else.
Yeah. True. This is it right here. This is the UFO, and this was
like
showcased at CES. You're right. It does look like INEO. But showcased 2019. So you can see, like, it's a full-fledged device, man. Like, it's running.
Yeah, these things are being worked on for sure.
Dude.
Well,
Yeah.
I would say the Switch really pushed this. I'm sure there are people who almost exclusively used handheld devices like the Nintendo 3DS. And when the Switch came out, it was a handheld that could play console type games or higher graphical fidelity titles. And so it's these users now dabbling into higher quality game. Well, it's not really quality, but it's like higher fidelity gaming. And so now there is a want for these Steam Decks for the these portable
PCs.
I think being dockable is a big thing, right? Because for Switch, I wouldn't have been as interested if it was just handheld. Because I also love gaming on my big TV, right? Yeah. Doing both and like picking it up out of the dock. Like when the first day I got my Switch and did that, I was like, whoa, like it was. I was like, wow. And now we're gonna see that with PCs. And you're right. I think Switch did open that door, and it's like not just the handheld, but the fact that you can also dock it, and the fact that even if it's not running like your gaming PC would, the fidelity is enough. Like it's there that you can enjoy the game go dock it with the same device, and these PCs are going to be great. You're going to come home from gaming, you're going to dock it.
Yeah.
It's going to go up on your big computer monitor. You're going to be chilling. You're going to take it with you in the morning. Like I already can see how I'm going to be chilling with the Steam Deck and other devices. So really cool.
It's nice. Go ahead.
I'll be excited if they make one with an NVIDIA GPU, because honestly, with like DLSS, I think it could do wonders. It just, their AI upscale technique is in my opinion the best.
Yeah. Yeah, AMD is pushing right now, man. A lot of companies are like, I got the One X player and they launched with Intel. A lot of people thought it was a bad idea, but recently they switched to AMD, and performance wise, just better.
Intel APUs don't do it. Yeah. They don't touch AMD most of the time. They're getting there, but
But I was gonna say, so you were talking about like the Switch, and I remember I used to cover it on YouTube, and something people started noticing, and I'm sure like Steam took note of this, is indie games started becoming like really popular on Switch. And you know, Steam is really known for the indie titles, right? So you start seeing like a lot of PC gamers getting a Switch. I had, you know, people who would watch it who were PC gamers, and they'll pick up like all these indie games in the Switch. So I wonder like if that was what woke, you know, Valve and Steam up to be like, all right, we need to counter that ish, right? This is our device to battle that, you know. But anywho,
what's so cool about something like the Switch and the Steam Deck is they just don't even compete. They're not even the same real market. So it's so cool they can bring something like that, use that idea, but it's not even really butting heads or competing for that 100 million consoles almost sold for Switch, you know?
Right. It's crazy, like watching YouTubers who are Nintendo Switch creators and then YouTubers who are like Steam Deck creators. It's like night and day, man. Like you have the hardcore, totally like nerdy guys, you know, testing like performance, speed, and then you have others who are, oh, this is Mario. He looks cute, like type situation.
Look how high he jumps. Yeah.
It's crazy. So yeah, definitely different markets, man, for sure. So no, I haven't tried it actually. But we'll probably do that for the review. But yeah, I'm trying to, I cannot. So again, put a Q&A if you have a question so we know what to pull up here. You guys see anything in the chat that pops up question wise that who cares a let's play?
Does that say Chief Simulator? Because I want to play more Chief Simulator. Like I want to sit at the PC. Like I want to do a Chief Simulator.
Yeah, I saw that too. I might get it. Diablo. Who makes that? Blizzard. Actually, Johnny. Hey, what's up, man? It's been a while. Actually, you can. So. Again, I've been like up all night, like for like learning, but there's a way to where you can actually launch any launcher through Linux, through the desktop on Linux and Steam Deck. So people are launching their EA what's it called, launcher. They have they're launching the Ubisoft launcher. So yeah, like Activision Blizzard, what's the launcher? I can't remember, but yeah, they
Battle.net. I think it's still Battle.net.
But the issue with Steam Deck right now, especially like with Linux, is the anti-cheat problem. So a lot of online games, Apex Legends, the first game to be verified to work on, but a lot of online games are not compatible right now because of anti-cheat. But from what I'm hearing, Steam is work. But if you go the Windows route, you can definitely do this. But as far as it working on Linux, this back route, but I still don't think it'll be supported because of the anti-cheat stuff going.
And the cool thing is Valve is working on their dual OS boot. It's not ready yet, but soon they're going to have the ability to actually use one NVMe. It's going to take space, of course, it's going to eat up, but you'll actually have a dual boot option where you can choose which OS to boot into and then play games. So that's really cool.
Great.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Be awesome. Yeah, I can't wait for that. do you know nothing about you're supposed to run?
Back.
Yeah, that's what I never do that. Who does this? So when you get an electronic like a phone, you're supposed to run it dry and then read. Who has time for that, man? Do you guys, Monkey? Do you do that? I've
I
never ever
mean, I
done
battery
this.
cycle quite a bit. I don't know. I'm a battery freak. I'm kind of a freak about cycling my batteries, so I can't lie. I do a little bit, a little
No,
bit.
so
It
whenever you get
depends.
a new product, you run it dry and then you wait for it to fully recharge before you use
Not
it
all the
again.
time. Sometimes I'll fill it, but I'll always let it go to zero and die before I charge it like the
Oh,
first
really?
full, from there. But yeah, I do tend to cycle a bit.
Okay, that's cool.
But I'll kill my phone every day anyway. Like my phone will die. Like it's not gonna make it.
Yeah, that's true. All right, again, put a Q and A. I'm just reading through
There you
these. I
go.
don't know if they're questions or not. There we go. How is Stadia and Steam Deck? So it
You got a video
works.
on that, right?
Yeah, yeah. It's kind of a bummer, because so if I don't know how to explain this, I'll try to show. So there's something called desktop on the Steam Deck. So, um, sorry, I wish I had my setup ready, but I'll just show it on the camera. So if you go to power, I don't know if you can see that, but if you go to power and there's something called switch to desktop. So again, this is going to leave there's something called a game UI, which is what you're seeing right here. Right. So again, it's just like its own UI right here, right? So if you go to power and go to desktop, it becomes like a Linux operating. So if I go to switch to desktop, you're gonna see it's gonna transition to like a Linux Windows looking type thing here. So it's going to that. So again, you have your start menu. So this is how you are supposed to play cloud gaming on here. But once you do this, right now, the controllers are not supported through this, right? So I found a way to bypass that if you watch the video. But that's the bummer right now. So this device truly is not the best cloud gaming device because they haven't fixed this issue. But once they do that, you should be able to just pull up Google. I have Chrome on here, pull up Chrome and just use the controller to play. So what you have to do now is you have to like map the controller. There's this a custom map config that you can use already, but it's not accurate. You have to play around with it to match it with like a traditional Xbox controller layout. But once you do that, you're good. You don't need to do it again, which is what I had to do. And I showed how to do that. But you can go about it that route, but it's just annoying. I just wish, you can go to desktop, hit Chrome, go in Stadia and just play. But you can't do that right now because the
I think you'll be
control's
there
not
soon,
supported.
man.
Yeah,
I was reading another
yeah,
article where they were kind of deep diving on the whole browser support and cloud
yeah,
and controllers and things like
yeah.
that. And Valve does have that on like the priority list of trying to get those drivers and that
Right.
compatibility happening there. They've got a lot on their plate, but I'll give it to them. They're dumping like daily update. Like
Dude,
they're on it.
they are.
So I don't think those things will be far out.
Yeah. But once that's, I was kind of holding off to do a cloud gaming review on it, but I'm going to go with it anyway. But I think once that's done, this device is going to be a beast for cloud gaming. It's going to be a beast. But yeah, so you can get it. You can enjoy Stadia right now with it, but I don't know if I can fully recommend it yet for it. But good question. Any others stand out to you? Can Ubisoft Plus come to Game Pass? They said they're working on this. I don't know if this has officially been confirmed.
Coming to Xbox supposedly, not to Game Pass. So it'll be a
Ubisoft.
separate
Oh, okay.
sub. Right.
Okay.
So like when they brought Extraction to Game Pass, they announced Ubisoft Plus coming to Xbox. And that'll be kind of like it's not going to be so far anyway unless they make changes. It's not a combined thing where like EA Play is now kind of combined. It's not supposed to be that. It's supposed to be its own standalone subscription that will give you all day and date release titles with the DLC, all that stuff you get with the PC sub, but made for console. So far, unless they make a change.
Jim Ryan said, did he say that? Did he say that? That's
I can't say. I don't
I
know.
think something to that effect, but I don't think he was.
I think his illusion was that they didn't plan on doing the same route with their first party titles that Game Pass was doing. It didn't necessarily mean they didn't have their own answer.
yeah.
Yeah. They said that they were going to have their own style subscription service that they were working on. They didn't specify that it was to counter Game Pass. It might be something, maybe a different style subscription.
Plus, you rarely want to release a product and specifically say you are targeting or going after another specifically like successful product, because if you're not able to pull that off,
Yeah.
it can bite you. So you got to kind of be careful how you go about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, Disney Plus didn't come out and say, "All right, Netflix, let's do this."
Yeah, no, yeah. And now they don't even compete. They're their whole own separate, thing. Who pulled all their movies from Netflix and put them on Disney Plus.
Yeah. How long can you go without being online using the deck? What do you mean by this? Thank you for putting that QA. If you're going to play cloud gaming service on a handheld, I don't see the value. Just use, yeah, we kind of talked about this. It's something about like
Personal
having a
preference.
dedicated, device. Yeah, true. I still believe the best cloud gaming device is the Odin right now. Seriously, for the
Isn't that like a
price,
$200 device too?
it's
Or am I wrong?
199.
Oh man, yeah. I
199.
mean,
Yeah,
definitely.
for just cloud gaming as a whole, that device is a beast, man. For the price, it's like the way I view it. It's like a Nintendo Switch Lite, and then the Steam Deck is like the normal Switch, or the Switch OLED. I'm trying to view it for cloud as well. But yeah, Odin is a great device.
For Holtz's little thing there about the Holtz is always trying to stir up some kind of trouble with different things,
What's
but
he say?
I would say it's not a bad device for those who aren't enthusiasts when it comes to the Steam Deck. What I was more saying was, not only is it being built for the mainstream that could use it, they've packed so much in to make enthusiasts and PC enthusiasts like me happy. Like you're talking about the monitor for all of the different stats. Even that alone is big, because we got to make all that stuff work on VMs and on PCs and get all that working. And that's just one thing, but the BIOS, the boot options, there's all kinds of things that they've crammed in there that if you don't ever want to care about, you don't need to.
You don't need to.
But they've done it, and it's like, yes, because they know the PC gaming market is going to be coming for this device. It's freaking Steam. So if you don't have this stuff in there, and it's only mainstream, it's going to be boring. So I would say the next Steam Deck and the next Steam Deck, they don't pull any of that away. They just put more and more and more.
It's like a whole new language. I was telling Jerry this, man. Like I was watching a tutorial video on how to get Windows, and I was just like, no thanks. Like I just like.
I don't think it's worth it for most people yet, man.
Even but I'm watching other videos again, just trying to learn these things. I'm just like, like what the hell?
I know.
Are
When
you talking
you messaged
about
me and
right
said,
now?
Jerry, what's the software you use on your PC to monitor all the stuff with the GPU? And I was like, dude, you don't even need that. You go right into performance. They've got it made already for and you got it on there.
Seriously, it was already on there. I had no idea. I thought I would have to like go download all this.
And that's so cool, because Valve's not hiding anything. They're not hiding performance, not hiding the battery. Like, they're putting it all out there. You can see it, you can test it, and you can show it.
I'm loving this, man. It's such a good device.
I think the fact that Ace has like really gotten into this device shows that it can be towards a general consumer as well as enthusiasts.
I am the general consumer. Like that's why cloud gaming, especially like Google Stadia, was so appealing to me, just to pick up and play. I'm a console gamer. I'm not a PC gamer. A lot of these guys are PC gamers, but I just like to put my game in, hit power, everything boots up, hit play, good to go. That's why Stadia was so appealing to me. But the fact that I'm sitting here with this and trying to learn all these things it's a lot, especially like I don't have the time, but I'm still willing to do it. Says a lot for sure.
I was gonna say you're not a true enthusiast unless you like at least one simulator game.
Oh no, no,
Oh,
it's
not
never
one?
gonna
There's not
happen.
even one?
Oh, I like that Dawn of Monsters game. There we go. There we go. Oh, that's not simulator. What am I
No, it's
That's
talking
not a
not.
about?
sim.
I thought you were saying
You trick.
indie.
Don't try to trick
Yeah,
us.
no, it's never gonna happen, man. Never
I was
gonna
gonna say
happen.
I'm gonna cancel my pre-order on Switch. I don't want no freaking simulator on my Switch with my controllers. I want some.
Yeah, man. Any other questions? You guys are writing a lot, but you're not putting Q&A, so it's just
Yeah,
I
I've
don't
been
know if
trying to take a
y'all are
look.
talking back and
What is
forth.
this? What mini? Oh,
What?
mini PCs
Oh,
at 120. Good luck.
yeah.
We've been thinking about getting. I know me and Chief were talking about we're thinking about ordering a couple of these really cheap mini PCs to see what they'll do with cloud. They
No.
won't do anything for local, but I guess we're gonna have to get on that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Could be fun.
That'll be fun. Did I? I did. I
Yeah.
actually have yeah. So this I was saying how Steam Deck is one of the best device right now that I've ever experienced when it comes to just tech. This is my biggest letdown that I've tried. I really want to like this product. I bought the keyboard, which was in digital like $350. I was like, this is gonna be I want this to be the device that I use for cloud gaming when I'm not using something like a mini, portable PC. And for cloud gaming, so this has a 1440p display. It has a 120 refresh rate. So right now the only service that you can get 120 is GFN. It's not supported on GFN. Again, GFN has devices that supports 120. This device is not one of them, so you can't take advantage of it. GFN is only limited to 1080p mobile browser or the Android app, so you can't even take advantage of the 1440p on GFN. Google Stadia is the only other platform that you can get 4K or push 120 1440p on. With this device, Stadia doesn't even work. So you can, if you boot up Stadia, all you get is you watch the review. You get a black screen and you hear sound. And I've contacted Google. They said they have no time on when this is going to be fixed. I think eventually with a software update, it can be fixed. But right now, Stadia doesn't work. And then, Xbox Cloud Game is 1080p. It looks good, and so does Luna, but I'm not, playing 1080p on a 1440p display. So I was just like, no. And I ended up paying $1,600 because I bought it was 1,200 for the device, and then you buy the keyboard for 350. It comes out of 1,600. And so I was like, hell no. Like, no way. I'm not keeping this. Like, I'm not
It didn't
gonna
help the
use
Steam
this.
Deck came the
Yes, it
same
did.
day that you're returning the.
It did. It did. The Steam Deck was like God just be like, that's your solution, man.
Go get that money back,
Yeah.
man. You don't need that now.
No, so I did return. I was upset because I really want to like this product, but it didn't do it for me. But yeah, I heard that was a good device. I'm a no and a fold type of guy, so I skip on the Galaxy line. But they do have kind of like a Note with, I believe is the Galaxy S22 something Ultra, right? They have the S Pen back now, but I'm all about the fold right now. So yeah, I have that right here, and I know you do too. Again, it just comes down to like, having a dedicated device to cloud game on is my preference right now. I want my phone to be able to talk to people if needed. All right, QA good. AC keeping. No, I returned that bad boy. Sorry, I returned that. Any other question? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's insane for the price, man. It's insane. It's insane. All right, so again, we got about 10 more minutes, or we can end early. It's up to you guys. But if you guys have any more questions, let us know. This is again just open Q&A. guys ask.
I see
we
this
answer.
look at this last thing from Holtz right here. I'll just say really quickly, I don't know what'll happen with this in the future, but I did read an interesting article talking about, as you know, Valve is testing out, see how Steam Deck goes, and future iterations could have a SIM card, could have
Mm-hmm.
that kind of capability.
Yeah.
It's obviously not a priority when they're not like a lot of us focused on cloud right now. They're focused on that
Right.
local experience, but they
Yeah.
know cloud's coming. They know the popularity. I have read that could be something that happens. And I know that's where phones and tablets with service can help fill that void when you're out trying to
Yeah.
cloud game and there's no Wi-Fi or no other way to do it. But definitely something we could see. I know a lot of people have wanted that from Switch for a long time, but
Yeah.
for me, I never really cared much on my Switch, but I could see as far as a cloud gaming option that it would become more important.
I would go as far as to say, if the Switch doesn't have this, the Switch would be the device, especially like take cloud out of it. The fact that most games, for instance, if you're trying to play Fortnite on Switch, you need internet, right? Most games, Splatoon 2, if you're trying to play online on Mario Kart, 8 Deluxe, you need Wi-Fi. I mean, you need internet. The fact that they don't even have a dedicated, um, device with built-in, SIM, I think says a lot as to the importance of it. So I don't know. I don't know if I see. I mean, the future probably, but I don't think it's like a priority for them, like right
Right.
now.
The other thing is it adds to the cost because that
Yeah,
data plan ain't free.
exactly.
And it's kind of turned, a lot of people
Yeah,
don't want to get into that to begin with. So,
it's true. It's true. But man, any device port or even USB-C display will send 120 out. Yeah, I I would say it has to support the. Jared, would you say? I'm not too sure. Any device with a display port, even USB-C, to display will send 120 FPS. So do you what do something I was trying to? Oh yeah, my One X Play that has a 60. It's just it only can do 60, and I did plug in a USB-C port to try to showcase 120 FPS around GFN, and it didn't. So I don't know
oh,
if it's
okay.
like limited to some devices, not,
It
but
must be. That's interesting because my laptop
mhm,
USB-C port out to my 1440 165 monitor
yeah,
will
it will.
kick in
Yeah,
and play GFN at 120. So that's interesting. I didn't know that
yeah.
about the One X player. Yeah.
I
I'm
wonder.
not an
Yeah,
expert when it comes to USB-C out to
um,
monitors. I do it
yeah,
a little bit with my laptops, but I've had good luck with that one. Like it just tends to work, and
okay,
the desktop picks it up, the PC picks it up, and GFN thinks I'm on a
yeah,
120 FPS because I am external, and it
right,
works. But I'm sure
yeah,
some devices with USB-C could have a problem with that.
yeah. I guess it's something I need to test more. I know you guys ask about that too, but yeah, don't know. I'm not an expert there as well. But yeah, any other questions? This was again fun. It's not our normal way about going at this, but I thought it was good to just give you guys a chance to connect with us and ask questions. And hopefully, you guys found this to be helpful and beneficial. But yeah, I think we're gonna wrap this up here. Appreciate you guys. Again, Google Stadia should blow the roof off this Tuesday, so let's see what happens there, and we'll be back here next week to talk about this. But appreciate you guys. We'll catch you guys next week. Peace out.
Later.